I think we're ready to go here. Appreciate everybody attending, and hope everybody's having a great summer here. Certainly wish well to everyone in terms of the air quality challenges we're facing here. I know in central Illinois, it's certainly much worse in the northern parts. So hope everybody is well and staying protected there from these current challenges. Wes, in terms of the agenda, I will kick it your way and let you take it over. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Rick. First thing we'll move on to roll call here, just to make sure we have a proper quorum. So seeing Rick Pullman is here. Next, we'll go on to the Office of Resource Conservation, seeing Brian Metzke, or if anybody else is here in his place. Hearing none, we'll go to...
Sorry, Wes, took me a minute to get off mute. Mike McClellan here with Fisheries.
Okay, thank you, Mike. All right, next, the Illinois Department of Public Health.
Brian, number 2, is here.
All right, thank you, Brian. Next, moving on to EPA. Jeff?
Yeah, I'm here, but Darren LaCrone is actually our official representative.
That's right.
So.
Thank you. I need to update this. Let me do that right now.
And I am here as well.
Thank you, Darren. My apologies.
Not a problem.
That's set up for next time. My apologies. All right. So EPA is in attendance. Next, we'll move on to DOT. Is Brian McCoy on?
That is Brian, number 3.
All right, thanks, Brian. Nobody's wanting to claim the number 1 status of the Bryans. I understand. All right, next, moving on, Department of Ag, Brian Reneker. Let me see. I am not seeing Brian at this time. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for him. IEMA, Zach?
I'm here.
Afternoon, Zach. Thanks for joining us. Moving through to Pollution Control Board, and Ann?
Essence is here for Illinois Pollution Control Board.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? It was a little quiet for me.
Essence Brown here for Illinois Pollution Control Board.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Essence. Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. I am not seeing anybody there, so Illinois State Water Survey.
Jason Zansky here. I'm not sure if I don't see Jenna, but we have multiple colleagues here as well.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jason. And lastly, we'll move on to Water Resource Center, Yufeng.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you. Good to see everybody or hear everybody.
Excellent. Well, wonderful. It sounds like I think we have everybody here except for Department of Ag and DCEO. So it looks like we easily have our quorum. And with that, we will go ahead and move on to the approval of last meeting's minutes, April 13th. You all should have received an email last week on the 14th with those meetings attached. I guess I will open it up if there's any questions or comments to the meeting minutes.
Wes, this is Brian. I am present for the Department of Ag.
Oh, thank you, Brian.
Sorry, I was 5 minutes late.
No worries, no worries. Glad you could join us. Any comments or questions on the April meeting minutes? If not, I'll take a motion to approve them.
Brian, Department of Ag, motion to approve the minutes.
Motion, can I get a second?
Jason Zhang, second.
Seconded by Jason Zhang. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand or send out whatever appropriate emoji.
Aye, from Darren LaCrone.
That was good. Okay. Any opposed? Seeing none, the minutes have passed from the April meeting. Next, we'll go on to just standard legislative updates. Rick, I'm not sure if you want to introduce the interagency water discussion that we have coming up. I believe it's next week. If you want to speak to that at all.
Thanks, Wes. And essentially, I'm not sure it necessarily falls within the topic of legislative updates, but there is a meeting scheduled for Friday the 24th, and it's been requested by Deputy Governor Scudder's team to include the ICC, the IDNR, and the IEPA. Essentially, it's an interagency water discussion. We don't yet have an agenda for that particular meeting yet, but certainly I expect it to cover many of the topics, including groundwater, potentially Lake Michigan allocation, and the challenges certainly we're facing with the influx of water needs from industry in terms of data centers. I would expect, again, no agenda offered to date, but I just wanted to note and highlight that discussion is happening or will happen, and I'm happy to certainly report out following that meeting. I'm not sure if any of the colleagues here on the call, certainly from IEPA, are plan to engage or have been notified of that meeting on Friday. I just wanted to, if not, I wanted to highlight that for the group. Thanks, Wes.
Thank you, Rick. I was about to open it up to any other agencies if you have any legislative updates that you wanted to share with the group pertaining to water. I guess hearing none, we'll jump straight into the section implementation milestones for each of the sections. Also, if you have any agency updates that you think are pertinent to the group, please feel free to share them. And with that, we'll kick off with our first section, water quality, and I'll turn it over to Jeff.
All right. Here, get my notes out. Here, for water quality, just a few things here. The integrated report is being finished up. That was put out for public comment earlier this year, and I think the public comment period is over, but it's going through the process of responding to the public comments, and then US EPA will review and come back with any changes they'd like to see, and then eventually get approved, and that will be later this year. A couple things. We've had some recommendations on Section 319 funding. There is funding again for fiscal year 26, as well as for 319, which is non-point source implementation, as well as 604 planning. We're actually going to have a notice of funding opportunity coming out in the next few days for Section 319. So we'll send that, I guess, to US, and you can forward it on to the full group. And the 604 will be later in the summer, early fall, and that's water quality planning. Monitoring of streams and lakes continues in the field season. People going out for that. And then just one other thing, there's been a lot more interest from different groups related to watershed planning, particularly around reservoirs and that more recently. And that's the major points we've got.
This is Darren. I'll just chime in a little bit too here. The integrated report comments, as you can probably imagine, we got a bunch of them. And some of it was raising questions about the methodologies used. What part of it is, based on a visual observation versus, lab data, that kind of thing, and how do we kind of characterize things between the two, and how do we come up with some of these, stream ratings and that sort of thing. So the staff is working pretty hard on trying to get responses drafted to all that. There's a lot of hands in that, as you can imagine, trying to put these responses together, and it'll go through several layers of internal review before we even send it back to the feds for their requested approval. Also, our surface water staff, and Jeff mentioned the stream and lake monitoring. They've had quite a few responses to algae blooms, and including on Lake Springfield here. So they've been busy responding to those. The lab's been busy analyzing extra samples for those. I don't think there's been anything that warranted any kind of a like drinking water or primary contact risk yet, but it is keeping the surface water staff busy. So I just wanted to add that in there, but that's all I had to add.
Thank you, Darren and Jeff. Is there any questions for the IEPA on water quality? Hearing none, we'll move over to climate change. I don't see, I'm not sure if I see Dave on the call with us right now, but I believe Trent Ford is. Trent, would you like to give an update regarding climate change?
Sure, yeah, Wes. So I think the big update is continued progress on the Illinois Mesonet. So this may or may not be the first or 10th time you've heard about this, but just in case. So we have the long-term monitoring program called the WARM program here at the Water Survey, and we have been working within the U of I and a lot of stakeholders, including some of you on this call for a while now, to expand and the monitoring from 20 stations to many more. And so that is really starting to get off the ground. The initiative, the goal here is to get up to having a high quality weather station, taking high resolution real-time data for decisions related to emergency management, think strong winds, heavy rain, air quality, right, extreme heat, having on average one per county. So that's I guess in progress at the moment, but there's a lot of momentum here at the university. So at some point, when things are a little bit clearer, maybe later this year or early next year, we could the team that's helping develop the Mesonet could give a presentation here, or at least update the task force on what's going on, if you all think that's relevant. Other than that, we've been working for a year on a climate data portal with Illinois Emergency Management. That's getting wrapped up now. We'll have a tool to demo. So we're going to be going around to doing a dog and pony show to a lot of local emergency managers' offices this fall. That hopefully will be a tool that'll be nice and slick and good to use for updates to and future climate planning for hazard mitigation plans. So that's something that is coming as well. So those are, I think, the two big updates that I have. But I know, Jason, if I'm missing anything, let me know.
Okay, thank you, Trent. Any questions on the climate change section? Okay, hearing none, I'll move over to the next section, the integrated water management. The biggest progress that we've had, and I know it's kind of slowly ramping up, is our work on IWIP. I see that Dr. Shelton is on. Dr. Shelton, would you like to speak to the IWIC? I know you've been kind of taking a little bit of a lead on that.
Yeah, Wes, I can speak to it. So the next thing kind of planned for IWIC is to have a meeting to kind of discuss how we might want to implement IWIC, whether we have no funding resources, we get some funding, and I've been working with the group, the Internet of Water, who have implemented equivalent centers to IWIC in states across the country, such as New Mexico, New York, Idaho, Texas, et cetera. So they're willing to help us convene this type of a meeting. We're currently shooting for the first week of November to hold this. I'm finalizing some details with the group. And then once I'm able to do that, I'm hoping to reach out to everyone within the Integrated Water Management Working Group and get invites, and then push invites out to any other important individuals that need to be there. So look for a invite here soon to attend a working group meeting. Thanks, Wes.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Shelton. With that, I guess I will, in case Rick has any agency updates. Rick, do you have anything that you want to add on behalf of OWR in general that may be worthwhile to share with the group?
Yeah, Wes, I don't necessarily have anything I'm tracking here, but I did want to note, and as you get down to Meg's section there, we have a written report from Meg. She won't be able to attend, but we can address that at that time.
Yeah, Rick, I was planning on sharing that, but yes, thank you. We'll definitely cover that. I guess any questions on the integrated water management section or for OWR? Hearing none, we'll move back over to the IEPA on long-term funding, which is led by Nadan Singh. And just looking at my list, I'm not sure I see him online. Is there anybody from EPA or anybody that would like to speak?
Yeah. Yeah, I spoke with Nadan, and just want to report that there were, I think, it was a little bit over $1 billion in loans this last year for the infrastructure program, and it's probably going to go down next year from what it has been, given some of the funding that's been available. But that's it for that one for this year, or for this meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Jeff. Is there any questions on the long-term funding section? Hearing none, we would next have water sustainability. Unfortunately, Wei Han is traveling and out of state today. I know he's been continuing to work on his regional water supply contracts, keeping that initiative moving forward, but I didn't have any direct updates for him. If there's any questions anybody has, I can at least take note of them and pass them along if anybody has anything. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the Lake Michigan section. As Rick mentioned, she is out, and I have an email from her that I can share with the group. You'll see it popped up here on the screen. I got to move a couple things away. So Great Lakes Coastal Resiliency Study in partnership with the Great Lakes Stakes and the Corps continues to progress. States have provided relevant data and have identified coastal resources to focus the evaluation. There are 20 resources included in Illinois. The next step will be working together to develop recommendations to be included in the study. The Corps aims to have the draft study out to the public comment in early 2027. The Illinois Coastal Management Program just completed a competitive for pass-through grant funding and is in the process of scoring those proposals. The coastal program is in the process of applying for the next cycle of Great Lake Restoration Initiative focus area funding. In the last cycle, CMP was successful in securing 3 new awards for Illinois: invasive species management for the Lake Plain, restoring the resiliency landscapes, which includes seed amplification and habitat restoration projects, and meaningful watershed educational experience in partnership with the Illinois Indiana Sea Grant. The subcommittee for the Lake Michigan Access and Accessibility and Use has not met yet. Recently confirmed 2 co-chairs, as you can see on the list, Representative Moll and Senator Peters. The coastal meeting with the co-chairs last week of July to identify members and to schedule a meeting. Lastly, the coastal program's in the process of starting a bi-state community of practice with Indiana Coastal Program and Illinois Indiana Sea Grant. The community of practice will focus on coastal resiliency in southern Lake Michigan. So that's all I have from Megan. Is there any questions regarding the Lake Michigan section? Hearing none, we'll move on to the flood damage mitigation section. And Tara is out on vacation, actually out of the country for this week. She did not provide any updates. I know she's been doing a lot of work on GIS and getting water reporting, not only for riverine flooding, but urban flooding. I guess I can actually reach out to Zach. Zach, do you have anything that you want to share with the group that may relate to flood or flood damage mitigation? I know you've worked with Tara on a couple of initiatives.
Not much. You know, we're still just working. We have our flood mitigation assistance grant opportunity that's currently open. We plan on submitting that here at the end of the month, but otherwise, really no updates at this time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Zach. I guess I'll open up to questions for the flood damage mitigation section. Hearing none, next would be the aquatic and riparian habitat section. And I don't, as mentioned before, Brian Metzke is not on. Michael, I don't know if you would want to speak to that. I'm not sure if you have much to say there, but I'll give you the opportunity if you have anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to speak with Brian. I can't fill in any updates for him on that. My apologies.
No worries, no worries. I'm sure we'll catch him in the next meeting. Any questions for aquatic and riparian habitat that we can pass along to Brian? All right, hearing none, we'll move over to Steve Altman with the water use laws and regulations section.
Yeah, got a couple things to talk about. I know that the Water Reuse Association did meet with some folks from EPA about a month or so ago. I did not attend myself, so I know that water reuse has been approved. Some other things related to OWR, we're continuing to update our Part 3700 rules, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of movement here in the next few months. We're making some progress. It's been pretty slow for a while, but other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Steve. I'll open up if anybody has any questions on water use laws and regulations. Hearing none, we'll move it over to Mr. McCoy for navigation.
All right, thanks, Wes. Just a couple of announcements. We got some good news. The 104th General Assembly passing the House Bill 111, the fiscal year 26 Illinois State budget pass. That'd be IDOT and the section for IDOT Office of Planning and Programming, section 15, page 1245. There's it states that $20 million was appropriated from the road fund to Illinois Department of Transportation for assistance to Illinois public port districts. And this is a one-time appropriation, but also good news for the port districts. This $20 million is going to be used to help public port districts for infrastructure project grants and other port district assistance, such as project delivery, operation funds, and studies. So we have a plan to help spend that. We have $3 million that's going to a various consultant contract to support port project delivery, help complete port master plans, and provide public port district support, general support. And we're currently working on developing updated port infrastructure grant program to help deliver a 20 million or a portion of that $20 million for infrastructure grants, and hopefully have that out in FY27. So that's the latest and greatest. Nothing else to report for this quarter. If you have any questions.
Thanks, Brian. Does anybody have any questions for Brian? Hearing none, we'll move on to, we'll say Brian number 1. I think that's the question, the number you were left with, Brian. So Brian Renaker with erosion and sedimentation. You have any updates for us?
Yeah, thank you, Wes. Yeah, here for the Department of Ag, we had a sub-awardee from the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency under the Climate Smart Agriculture Program. It's for carbon capture reduction. We're getting ready to send payments out to the district. So this is a historic grant program for the department. It's going to be $63 million will be awarded here in the next 30 to 45 days for strip till and no-till practices. And that is a 3-year program. We're going to enroll about 638,000 acres across the state over the next 3 years. That's going to pay roughly right around $35 per acre per year. So when you do some math, those are going to be some pretty significant payments. We've actually already heard from a few participants that this program has made the difference in their budget in their overall farm budget from red to black. So pretty big program, really excited about where it's going. Then in conjunction with that, we have NRCS, Regional Conservation Planning for Partnership Grant. It is called iCover, and it is for early cover crop adoption. And that is also another 3-year program. The two means for that is you have to either do earlier adoption or a different type of planting application, like drones or robotics. That's going to pay, depending on what you plant, between $55 and $105 an acre. So that is a real big needle mover, and there's about $7.5 million allocated for that program in the next 3 years. And that's what I have for the update here at the agency.
All right, thank you, Brian. Does anybody have any questions for Brian on erosion and sedimentation section?
Oh, and I did forget one piece. We do have a pilot project. It's a batch and build for edge of field practice going in its 2nd year. So it's kind of off the Iowa model. So we're kind of looking back into those edge of field practices. As we've seen, there's a lot of cover crop programs through the state feds and private entities.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, for that addition. Anyone else have anything for Brian? Hearing none, we'll move on to Jason on data management.
Thank you, Wes. For data management, the main updates is we, DNR, I mean yourself, and USGS and the Water Survey, met several times in the last quarter, and we all agreed to have the annual working group meeting sometime in the winter of 2020, let's say 2026, 2027, so January, February timeframe. So for us, what's need to happen now is the logistics, who we want to invite to attend that meeting and where we're going to do it. We picked the time, but there's more work coming, and I will borrow you more to, before we finalize where we're going to do it and, and who we'll invite to that meeting. But good thing is, we all agreed to have that meeting, and we need to work on the list of, attendees and start that process. So in addition, I want to add a little bit, under the water sustainability, since Wade's not here, the climate change impact on lake evaporation analysis is ongoing. and we are processing the data and analyze the data. So we plan to have the results, sometime in several months, let's say. So within this year, we'll have the results and we'll present to DNR. So that's primarily on the, that's not on the water, that's under the water sustainability recommendations. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Jason. Yeah, I apologize. I should have thought to reach out to you since Wei was not here on that. But thank you for the update on both water sustainability and data management. Does anybody have any questions for Jason? Hearing none, we'll move on to our final topic of recreation. Michael, you want to take it away?
Yeah, one update from me. We in fisheries specifically, we're working on we've established the framework for a fishing license database model where we can evaluate those license sales statewide, specifically to kind of target our services throughout the state. So we have the fishing license data built in where we can we've added in metrics for census data and then our recreational water bodies in that, so we can look at those license sales throughout the state and see where a lot of our services that we provide in fisheries are having an impact, specifically as it relates to the zip codes of where license sales occurs and things like that. Hopefully, I think there's potential also then to build in the boating license sales there, and it's really pretty interesting because we can look at a variety of different metrics and see where those licenses are being sold and then what services we're providing in relation to that, and then hopefully fine tune it in the future if it all works out.
Great, Michael. Does anybody have any other questions on the recreation topic? Hearing none, I will just kind of mention that Meg did give a little bit of an update on that Lake Michigan Beach Access Subcommittee. So got a little bit of information there regarding the drought response subcommittee. Wei didn't leave anything, but I know he was still looking for some representatives from some of the other agencies. So I don't know if Department of Ag or EPA has anybody that would be interested on serving on that committee, but be good to get the agencies together so that we can kind of be proactive in how we would address some of those responses. So if you have any suggestions on who may be a good individual to maybe serve on that drought response subcommittee, feel free to either send them to myself or directly to Wei. I can route them to Wei if you don't have his contact, but it'd be good to get a full perspective on that subcommittee so that we can address all the agency's considerations when it comes into drought. So with that, we'll go on ahead into the next item on the agenda, and that is new business. So I will open it up if anybody has any new business they'd like to propose for the task force. Hearing none, we'll move on to our segment of public comments. If there's anybody from the public, just looking at our list, not sure if we have anybody, but I'll take a minute if you'd like to unpause and provide any public comment for the task force. Hearing none as well. Well, I think we're going to set a record for one of our quicker meetings this meeting. So just kind of wrapping up, the next meeting is October 19th. It will be in person and as a hybrid for those who can't make it in person, but we'll be going over to the new IEPA office. I guess, Jeff, is there anything we need to be aware of for those who have never been to the IEPA office? Any directions on where to enter or anything as we come in there?
Yeah, I guess the main entrance is, I guess, behind the mall, I guess, and it's not off of the main street there, but we'll get you information and probably a map for that.
Sounds great, Jeff. If you can send that to me, I'll be sure to route it to the group as well as a reminder as we get closer to that main date. Again, we appreciate IEPA hosting our location for our annual in-person meeting coming up here in October. One thing that we will be looking at doing in that October meeting likely is setting our official dates for the 2027 calendar. I have a couple of dates set tentatively. Of course, these are subject to full approval by the official task force, but you might want to just put a placeholder as that's what we may be proposing. Not that that can't be changed or adjusted. So just know those are tentatively scheduled for those two dates. And as I mentioned, we'll make an official schedule at our next meeting so that we're ready to go for January in 2027. The last thing I'd like to do is just open up if there's any topics that anyone wants us to cover at a future task force meeting. I know this meeting was a little short. Usually we have some additional topics in for discussion, but right now we're really in the middle of the implementation phase of the water plan. So just make sure you're continuing to move forward on some of those initiatives. I think, yeah, we're right at the halfway mark almost for that phase. So good to keep those initiatives moving forward. And also, if there's anybody that would like us to cover any topic, I guess I'll open it now. Does anybody have anything that we should consider for an agenda item for next meeting? Well, I guess hearing none, it looks like I will go ahead and turn it back to Rick for closing us out. And I just want to thank you all for joining us. Rick?
Yeah, thanks, Wes. You run an efficient meeting for sure. Again, I'll just reiterate, thanks for everyone's time and attendance today. It certainly is, it's good to check in, if nothing else, report out on current activities or updates. I think it's good for the group to hear. You know, as Wes offered, if there are agenda items that would be beneficial as we look to future gatherings here, please don't hesitate to share those over to Wes at any time, and we'll certainly get those plugged into the agenda. Again, thanks everyone for your time today and participation, and we look forward to gathering in person in October. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.